Well, hello everyone. I'd like to introduce you to Joe B. Blue. Job is an 11-year-old registered Rocky Mountain horse gelding. As you can see, he's quite beautiful with his deep chocolate color highlighted by that lovely flaxen mane and tail. Job has been a trail horse his entire life, and he's also been a fun horse just to be around. I hope you enjoy the following clips. In this clip here, you'll see that Hank, Davy's grandson, was happy to help us desensitize Job to the air dancer. And as you can see, it's not really a big deal for Job at all. Look, he's very interesting horse, as some of the things that would bother other horses just don't faze Job. Most of the things that we have thrown at him as a desensitizing tool, he's actually quite bored with. So I really enjoy this horse's personality because he is super smart and asks questions and analyzes things instead of just reacting. And that's the kind of horse I like to work with. And this clip here will show how we teach all of our horses to side pass to the mounting block. And that's a very important skill to have. As you get older, it's a little bit harder to get on some horses, and you can use a log, the back of your truck, picnic table, whatnot, and the horse side passes his hindquarters over to the mounting block. A lot of times horses will actually step away from the mounting block, and that can be dangerous. So we teach all of our horses that skill, and it's very nice to have. So in this clip, we're showing how Job handles the flag. The thing about a flag is you have to have a horse with a very solid neck rein that's responding to your aids nicely, because it's rather difficult to handle the flag and ride your horse at the same time. And of course, we just up the skill level by adding the obstacles as well. And again, Job never cared about this whatsoever. Even the first time we had done the flag, he just handled it. I'm not even sure that he ever really glanced back at it. He just is a go with the flow kind of horse, especially for the things that intimidate other horses. He's quite happy with. In this clip, we're doing the umbrella exercise, and this is something we do with the horses that are a little more advanced. They have to go through a whole series of desensitizing, and we progress the levels as we go along, starting with something simple and then progressing to something like the umbrella and the flag as in the earlier clip. And you see here I'm opening it and closing it and actually riding him with just my body, seat cues, and my legs. No reins whatsoever. And you can tell his ears are forward. He's quite happy to go along, not worried in the least. And that is a lot how Job handles new things. I think this horse just enjoys new things. Anything that he can think about, he seems to really get into. Just love the way this horse thinks and responds to things. Just really nice thinking horse. Okay, in this clip, we're showing him without a bridle, without any headgear. Notice he just has a rope around his neck, and this was one of the first times that we had tried this. And it was just kind of an idea to see if he was paying attention and how responsive he was to our aids. A lot of horses know when you take that bridle off that maybe you don't have complete control of them, so it's a true test of where you're at with your training and your partnership together. So you notice that we go in a couple circles, we ask him to gait, and he's quite happy and pleasant to be with. I turn my head here, use a little neck rein, and he follows me right along. So this horse is very perceptive. He really seems to enjoy any kind of challenge that we put with him. And so I think he would be an incredible versatility mount, something where you could go trail riding one weekend, go do an obstacle course the next. Anything that gives him a little bit of a challenge, he would be a fun horse for that. And so you see there, like I get a little bit, used a little too much leg and he got confused. And then he backed up. And that is very typical for Job. Instead of getting upset and worried about what I wanted, he backed up a step, got confused, went forward, and then backed up again. And that is his temperament. Notice how he's licking his lips afterwards. He's a very good question asker, and he can analyze. So instead of reacting always to the situation, he's the type of horse that will ask a question or analyze it before reacting. And I really like that about him. So here I asked Job to canter, and you see he's not trying to run away. He's staying in his gait, quite smooth at it, and all that with just a rope around his neck. And obviously I wouldn't have attempted something like that unless I trusted him. But as you can see, he's quite content to do what I ask. Job has been a trail horse all of his life, so he's quite comfortable on the trails. You see my dog is right there, and he can run in and out of the woods, and Job is an observant horse, so he does see the dog when he runs in and out of the trees, but he's not a reactive horse. Here we're going down a steep hill, and if you notice, I get my leg caught on a vine, or his leg, excuse me, and instead of panicking, he just figured out how to pick it up and went along the way, and he just doesn't let stuff like that bother him. And here in Kentucky, our trails are quite rough. As you can see, they're also quite slick on this day. So he's sure-footed, he holds himself well, and he has good composure. So here we're going through a lot of mud, if you can tell, very, very deep. And in Kentucky, if you don't know what mud is, then your horse isn't broke. It's just one of the things that we have here is every horse. I think we have the middle of summer where we don't have mud. And so there he goes right through the creek. Absolutely no problem with water. Goes up hills. He knows how he uses his hindquarters, drops his head. He's very proficient and comfortable in the woods. So here we're just showing off Job's gaits. He has a natural 4-beat gait that doesn't require a special type of rider or special kind of bit. He's barefoot and still stays in his gait quite naturally, even in the mud and the muck. You can ride him on a loose rein or collect him up a bit, and he's got a nice soft mouth, will bridle up easily, and he will also go on a nice loose rein and still maintain that 4-beat gait. You see here we're going through the noodles because they're in the way, and you know what? He doesn't mind at all. I would call him a forward type horse, not in the way that you would have to hold one back, but he likes to move out. Good forward type walk, and probably a medium speed at his gait. He has a nice slow gait and a medium gait. Would not be a speed racker type horse. You're more than welcome to come visit Job or send us an email or even a phone call, and we'd love to tell you more about him. You can contact us at horseofyourdreams@yahoo.com or give us a phone call at 270-791-7181. We have much more video footage available of Job. Some of these clips will have the full-length ones on YouTube under Horse of Your Dreams. And you can also visit our website at horseofyourdreams.com. So you'll notice here that we go through our big rain puddle, and it's rained so much lately that the outdoor arena is just a big swamp. But you know, you make do with what you have, and he had no hesitation whatsoever just to go through the mud and the water. And in fact, I don't know that he's hesitated on anything like that. Here we pick up a bit of a canter. It's quite slick, so I was a little bit worried that, you know, we'd slip right through here especially, but, you know, he's a balanced horse and comfortable in his gaits. So if you notice throughout the gaiting part, we're going through the noodles, and so here I just go through them again. And again, no hesitation. He never had been trained as an obstacle horse before he came here, but it's just a no worries kind of thing for him. Just a good boy. Now here my husband Davey is, we taught him to lay down, and then we've increased it a bit more by teaching him to lay down to mount. So You could take this further by just teaching him with the tap of the leg to lay down if you so desire. Just further the trick. It's convenient if you had somebody that was a little disabled, then they can mount this way. And you see, he still doesn't even have any headgear. He doesn't even have a neck rope on here. And obviously he stands perfectly still when you get on him. And then here I give Hank a ride for the first time. Hank had never ridden with me, and I had actually never had a child to hold, and so it was a little bit hard at first to steer without hitting him in the head. And I tried to get Hank a couple times to take it, but he just didn't have any part of that. He was a little bit scared. He's a city boy and hasn't really had a whole lot of horse experience, though you can tell he's kind of having the time of his life. But Job even neck reins around here, and I kind of still try here to get Hank to hold the reins, but he was happy just to be in the middle. And the other times that we've had Hank on a horse, they've been a trotting horse, so I think he kind of enjoyed the ride. So here's Job chasing the ball. And the ball is a great training tool because you can work on shoulder control, desensitizing them, teaching them to kick something, push it with their nose, and it shows a bit of your personality of your horse. Some horses are absolutely scared of it, and others are quite infatuated with it. So we use it for both things. It's a rather hard tool because you never know where the ball is going to end up, but it's fun. And so here we're showing Job with the four-wheeler and the semi-trailer and just some of the equipment around the farm. And you see, that's a lot like him. See, he's very aware of everything, but he's not a horse that is jumping around and spooking. He pays attention to most things. The four-wheeler goes around him there, and he's quite comfortable with that. So I get Davy just to kind of go some circles around me just to make sure. And then here we chase the four-wheeler, and that comes in handy if you ever need to pony one from the four-wheeler. And then any time a horse can chase something, it builds up the confidence in it. And obviously he has no worries at all about that. Whether it's cars, tractors, ATVs, he's quite happy with anything that's around him and not want to worry about it. So here we're dragging the big tarp, and as you can see it's quite long, dragging on his hindquarters, and Job has his ears forward, happy to go along, has no worries in the world about this scary thing dragging behind him. And here I decided to see if I can back him up and move his shoulders and move his hindquarters and just put a little bit of the training exercises along with having the big blue scary tarp. And he does quite well. He's touching his face there, kind of getting in the reins. And again, he's just not a horse to get worried about some of the things that other horses would be not happy with at all. This horse is game. So here I'm just trying to play a little bit of peekaboo with it, putting it over his face and his eyes, seeing if he's going to have any reaction to it. And he's smart enough to know how to shake his head and get it off without getting upset, getting worried about what I'm doing. You notice I don't have my hands on the reins, and he's just standing there taking what I throw at him and shaking it off. So he's kind of a fun horse because he's willing to let me play these games and not get upset and worried about something that I'm doing to him. So right there, good job, Job. Such a nice boy. So in this segment, we're just practicing jumping up and down the banks, and that gives them a real life situation for trails where there may be a big drop off, or you may have to jump up on a cliff or something. And so it just teaches them how to handle your feet. Like right there, he dropped one, and he just learns how to know where his feet are at and have a little bit of self-control. The wobble bridge does the same thing, just teaches them how to handle something moving underneath their feet and not get upset. And then we have the big bridge, and again it's just another obstacle to help form a bond of trust and leadership with your horse. And the water box can be particularly scary for some horses, but for Job it was never an issue. Yeah, he loves water. If you would like more information on Job, feel free to contact us over email or phone. We also have more videos that we can send that are the full length of some of these clips. And you are more than welcome to come visit him. We would rather enjoy that. And we can take you out on the trails, and we have an indoor arena in case the weather is not great. So we're happy to hear something from you. Please send me your questions.